Welcome to the Host Planet Playbook, your go-to guide for mastering short-term rentals. In this special series, we're sitting down with 30 of the world's top property managers to uncover what really drives success in the vacation rental industry. You'll hear their stories, learn the key lessons they've picked up along the way, and discover the game-changing tech they use to deliver 5-star guest experiences. If you're serious about growing your STR business, you're in the right place. We've also developed an ebook featuring the stories of every manager in this series, and you can download it for free. Head to hostplanet.club to find out more. In today's episode, we're chatting to Amy O'Sullivan from Wild Hideaways in Ireland. Stand by for a deep dive into luxury rural rentals, going after direct bookings from day one, and constantly managing guest expectations. This special series is brought to you by Host Planet and Hospitable, the smart AI-powered property management software trusted by hosts worldwide. With Hospitable, you can automate guest messaging, sync calendars across platforms, and manage your rentals with ease, all from one powerful, easy-to-use platform. If you're keen to run your short-term rental on autopilot, try Hospitable today. Visit hospitable.com/hostplanet to see how the platform can save you time, reduce stress, and maximize your earnings. Amy, thank you for being part of the Host Planet Playbook. Let's start with you. What's the name of your company? Where are you located? And how many rentals do you manage?
So my name's Amy O'Sullivan and I'm the founder of Wild Hideaways Eco Spa Retreat. So we are right in the bottom southwest corner of West Cork in Ireland, about 10 kilometres away from Bantry. And we have 6 luxury lodges, each sleeping 2 adults. And we also have an on-site spa, a sauna, and lots of other lovely little bits and pieces.
Sounds idyllic. I don't detect an Irish accent there. So how did you end up in Southwest Ireland?
So I've got a bit of a story. So I met my husband about 30 years ago in Manchester when I was at university, because I am from Somerset in England. And then we went over to Australia for 17 years. And in 2014, we decided to move to his hometown, which is here near Bantry in West Cork, because at the end of the day, all Irish boys end up coming back to Mammy. So that's how we ended up here. But I absolutely love it here. And it's a real home for me. And the community is absolutely fantastic. That's the best thing for me. The community is just amazing here.
So how did you end up in the short-term rentals world?
Completely by accident. I expect you hear that a lot. So it was during COVID. So we were in COVID and we had all this amazing space around us. We were able to go out and walk the dog and have fresh air. We were really in a lovely little bubble, and we were watching the television and seeing all of these reports of all these people cooped up in cities, in these apartments, not being able to go anywhere or do anything. And I just turned to my husband, John, and I just said, we've got something so special here. When this is all over, I want to share it. I want to share it with everybody. So that's how it ended up. And we turned the field next door into a short-term rental space. And that's how it came about.
So what did you do before deciding this short-term rentals venture was for you?
Music and drama teacher. So I couldn't work at all during COVID. And that's what kind of like spurred me on for this, because, there was no singing, there was no classes, there was nothing going on at all. So that's my past life. And now I'm a host and I absolutely love it. Best thing I've ever done.
So the light bulb moment was during COVID. So tell us about the journey since then and what you're doing now.
Yep. So it was quite a difficult journey to begin with, actually, because planning was quite difficult for us to get. We are in rural Ireland. There is, it's quite draconian, actually, the planning system here. So it's very difficult to get our planning through. We had to keep giving different ideas. They didn't say no on principle, but they really wanted to kind of control the type of buildings we were putting in and what we wanted to do. So that was a really, really long journey. But once we got our planning, then we started building. My husband's a ground worker, so he did all the groundworks for us. And then we got a builder in then to purpose build the lodges. I had a really clear idea of what I wanted them to look like, and I designed them myself. And then the fun bit started. I went in and did all the decorating, which is my favorite part. I had a very, very clear vision of what I wanted them to be. So I was kind of thinking 5-star hotel in the middle of a field. that was kind of like my vision. So I really wanted to go all out on the decor. So that was really fun. I really enjoyed that. And then the journey started with, marketing and getting our name out there. So we officially opened in October 2023 for a little 6-week period, just to test out the market, to see if some of the USPs that we were offering were working. We then shut down for 6 weeks to reassess, and we went over to Australia to visit our children, because both of our children live there. And we came back then, and we opened officially in February 2024, and we've been open ever since.
Talk to us about that promotion and marketing journey. How did you make sure that you were getting as many direct bookings as possible from as early on as possible?
So one of the things that I really wanted to do was to have direct bookings. And so we got our own website right from the outset. And we made sure that when we opened, we had that up and running. We got a grant actually with the LEO, which is the local enterprise office, to help us with that, which is a really, really great service here in Ireland. So we got that grant, and we went to a local company, really wanted to go with a local company who knew the area. I really wanted the website to be very rich in photos and content, because we are in such a beautiful area. I wanted that conveyed on the website. And you'll notice when you go into the website, the first thing that pops up is a beautiful video. Really gives you that user experience as soon as you're on the website. So that was really, really important to me. And having that website up and running straight away was absolutely brilliant. And then, of course, embedding into it a really good booking engine. So everything ran really, really smoothly. So that side of it was quite easy. Getting out and getting heard and letting people know who we are and where we're from, that was more challenging. And it came, drip, drip, drip. But once word of mouth got out, once we had a couple of articles in newspapers, people started to hear about us, talk about us, started to get a little bit more well known on social media. We did a couple of collabs, we did some competitions, and then people started talking about us, and then that's when the bookings really took off.
And where are you now in terms of direct bookings and getting those repeat guests?
So we have about 65% direct bookings, which we're really proud of. Mostly the direct bookings happen with our Irish customers, which are in the off-peak seasons. And then we find that in summer, we do get a lot of OTA bookings. They're foreign, from Europe or America, and they're just going straight to the OTAs and then booking with us. So off-season, most of our bookings are direct. Sorry, what was the second half of the question? That's me. Can't remember the second. Can you remember the second half of the question?
Just about. Took me a second. How do you make sure you get the repeat bookings as well?
Having 5-star reviews is amazing. So, we always ask our customers once they've stayed, will they leave a review? And then, the ones that bother to leave the review, we always make sure that we touch base with them and thank them for the review, and offer them to come back for a stay and to book direct again. And if they haven't the first time, we offer them to book direct. And we always give our repeat customers a little gift when they come as well. So we've got one couple that have been 4 times since we've been open, and we've only been open for 18 months, and they call it their little corner of paradise that they love to come back to. Word of mouth's a great thing too. Having repeat customers talking to other people. And we provide them with a really good and great experience, a really unique experience. So they want to come back.
Yeah, I think asking for a review is a really underrated tactic in this space, and not everybody does it. So yeah, that's kind of first thing to do. So in terms of the unique experiences that you offer, how do you, what makes you stand out among the competition?
Okay, so I wrote this down so I didn't forget. So we're in a very rural location. And our location is, our main USP. We have the most amazing views of Bantry Bay and the surrounds. We are in the middle of farming land. We're in a beautiful rural community. So that's something that's very, very different for a lot of people. And most of our customers, they do come from the cities. So that's a natural USP, I suppose you could say. The other side of the coin is that, we do offer a real luxury experience, but we are also eco-friendly as well. So sometimes those two things don't go together too well. People think eco and they think, oh, they're going to be staying in a yurt and they're going to have to pee in the field and poop in a pot and, all that kind of stuff. We are eco-friendly. We've got really, really strong eco policy that is advertised on our website. We only use local products. We only use eco-friendly products in our cleaning and everything that we provide, but it is a luxury experience. It is like staying in a 5-star hotel, so we're kind of hitting both of those marks. And the other thing that makes us really unique is that we have our own on-site spa. So not very often in these very rural locations do you find an on-site spa that you can go to and book a massage or a facial or a body scrub, or we've even got a yoga studio, so you can have a yoga class if you want to. So those number of USPs, really make sure that our guests, everything's being hit that they want, and it also makes us attract the right kind of customers. So basically, I'm selling what I like in a holiday, and I'm attracting those kind of people back again.
Perfect. Yeah, it sounds like you're ticking a lot of boxes.
Yeah.
Based on your location, then, what are the main challenges and opportunities?
So the challenges and the opportunities actually are the same. And I'll explain what I mean by that is that we are off the beaten path. We are very, very much out the way. So we don't get drive-bys. We don't get people driving by going, oh, that looks good, I'll go there next time. People don't discover us that way. So, we have to be very kind of unique on how we get people to know where we are and what we're doing. Because, we it's not like in the old days, you have a guest house and there's a flashing sign saying, we've got availability. People just wouldn't see us. So that is one of the challenges. We're a hidden gem. And that also is obviously, one of the opportunities, because we are in the middle of nowhere. It's very unique in this kind of environment to be able to go somewhere and, not meet anybody else, and to sit in absolute silence and to be able to look up at the sky and to see every single star in the sky because there's no light pollution, to sleep in a room that is absolutely blackened out, but you've got your curtains open because you are in the middle of nowhere. So, the two things are the same, and we have challenges, but they also offer opportunities.
What are your top tips for delivering an outstanding guest experience?
So number one is managing guest expectations. So we need to make our customers aware that we are in the middle of nowhere. And they are very aware of that. They are told that we are 10 kilometres away from the nearest town, that they need to come either prepared with food if they are going to do self-catering, or if they want to avail of our hampers, they need to pre-order them. So they're told all of that in advance. So managing those expectations means that we don't get people turning up going, can we get a bus into town because we want to go for something to eat? And then I have to say to them, I'm sorry, no, there's no buses. And, the nearest restaurant's 10 kilometres away. So it's really important. And by doing that, you do also maintain your 5-star guest review score, because you're managing those expectations. People know what they're getting when they turn up, so they've got no way of being disappointed. So that's my number one tip. Number two is being really present on the guest journey. So we have 12 points of contact all the way through our guest journey, and that's before, during, and after the stay. So before the stay, every single guest that books with us, whether they're booking directly or whether they're booking through an OTA, they're given a link to a guest app, which has all the information on the lodge, and also a shopping basket of things that they can buy. They're told about all the different things that they can do in the area. They're told where the dog walks are, where the beaches are. And then when they're here, we ask them how things are doing. We ask them if there's anything they need, and this is all done through a messaging channel. And then when they leave, we ask them for their 5-star review, and we follow up and ask them if they'd like to join our email list. So making that guest journey seamless. And look, there's all different types of guests. You've got guests that hang on to every word you say and want to feed on that information. And you've got other guests that turn up on the day and download all the messages all at once. But, you've provided that information. And, the guests love it. And they really feel like, even though they're not having that face-to-face, they feel like they're being looked after. And, that's really important. And tip number 3 is have a really great staff. So we employ only very local people from our area, and our staff is like our family. We do fun stuff together. We enjoy each other's company. We all respect each other. And, we feel we have an open relationship, that we feel that we can, air any grievances in a really respectful, friendly way. Everyone's on the same page. Everyone wants the best for the business because we are a family. So having a great staff is also really, really important.
In your guest communication tips there that you mentioned, you were talking about offering people hampers and this kind of thing. Is upselling something that you do focus on and you find that it brings in some extra income for you?
Upselling is a huge thing for us. It was something that took off very slowly, but as I became more involved in it, especially because we're in the middle of nowhere, and guests, a lot of guests turn up thinking, oh, we were going to go to a restaurant, and then they get here and they change their mind. They're like, oh my God, we don't want to leave. We're an experiential destination. The experience is staying here. We're not just a place to sleep so you can go off to a fancy restaurant in town. It is, this is the destination. So upselling hampers, we do breakfast hampers. We do pizzas, antipasti platters, wine, beer. We also upsell things like fire pit baskets. And we do also, which is really popular with our romantic couples, is romance packages and celebration packages with balloons and flowers and all that kind of stuff. So everything's waiting in the room when they arrive. And we get a lot of celebrations here. We get people. We've had 4 or 5 proposals here as well, which has been really lovely. So the upsells are absolutely massive. And just recently now I've started to collaborate with other women in business in the area to provide upsells in the form of experiences. So collaborating with a lady who does forest bathing experience, another lady that does a foraging tour, and I'm starting to collaborate with them and offer those as well to my guests so that they can have a whole package of things to do and see in the immediate area. The last thing I want is people to come and check in here at Wild Hideaways and then travel 30, 40 miles down the road to go and do something. I want to keep stuff local, and we've got a little micro tourism area here, and trying to keep that local by upselling things and coordinating with very local businesses is the way to go.
Yeah, how important do you think it is to be seen as kind of a net positive for your local community and to be embedded within it?
Really, really important, especially in West Cork. I mean, community is just huge. I always say that being in West Cork is like being in an episode of Heartbeat. Remember that? You might be too young for that, but it was I do remember it. A lovely little sitcom set in the 1950s. The community here is very, very strong. Everybody knows their neighbours. Everyone looks after each other. And it was very, very important to us to, especially my husband is from the community. He was born here. So it's very important to us to not only be seen to be involving the community, but we actually genuinely wanted to, because we are a very strong part of our community and we wanted to involve ourselves in that. And, before we even put a footing down here, we consulted with the community and asked what their views were about us, having Wild Hideaways here, because this is the first thing of its kind in the area. We wanted it to be a really positive experience for everybody. And that's also one of the reasons why we aren't and won't expand. We're not interested in having a Wild Hideaways with 15 or 20 lodges, because that would impact negatively on our community. It would increase the traffic on the roads. It would make it impossible for the tractors to get backwards and forwards to their fields. So, just having a small amount of lodges and just a small amount of traffic is perfect for us. And we're respecting the community, and in turn, the community respect us.
Superb. I love it. Yeah, there's a real blueprint there for setting up a luxury abode like you have it within a very strong community. What's been the biggest lesson learned?
Organisation. Yeah, that is, I am an organisation freak, but I didn't understand when I first set out quite how organised you had to be. And for me, being organised is my key to eventually having a passive income, which is where I'd like to be. So things like setting up automated systems, using the right kind of plugins and having those in, taking the time to properly train your staff, and having, really, really good SOPs, and making sure that they know about those SOPs. And if we have a staff member that's off sick or we have to bring someone in, they can follow that SOP. Everything just runs seamlessly. So having everything really, really organized. Also having a huge bank of content that you can go to at any time. And I would add to that seasonal content. So we've only just finished at the end of last year getting our bank of seasonal content up, because obviously last Christmas was our first Christmas that we were operating. So we now have thousands of photos and videos of Wild Hideaways all in a lovely Google file that we can use at any point. And that just makes social media so much easier, advertising, updating my website. So it really is about organization and working on your business, not in your business. And I certainly would not have time to be that organized if I was up changing beds and cleaning bathrooms. We have the staff to do that so that I can spend the time getting organized and getting my business working smoothly.
What do you love most about hosting?
The thing I love about hosting is when I get that 5-star review in and the little bubble happens in your chest, and some people write the most wonderful, beautiful things, and I'm humbled every day when one comes in and people say, we had a couple of weeks ago, this lady said, we've had a really difficult year. We've had we've got 2 or 3 children. We just haven't spent any time together. And just the 2 days we spent with you gave us an opportunity to rest and reconnect together and remember who we are. And she wrote all of that in a review. And that's just to know that what I've created has helped somebody have that experience it's humbling, and it's the most wonderful feeling in the world. It really is.
Lovely. Okay, then, Amy, we've got a few more quickfire questions now.
Yeah.
So which PMS do you use?
We use Cloudbeds. We started off with Glamp Manager and quickly realised that we were outgrowing it within about 3 months. So I went with one with all the bells and whistles.
Which dynamic pricing tool do you use?
We don't. Something I'm looking into. But it's a bit difficult for us. We don't have any similar properties in the area to base our pricing strategy on. I do manually, obviously, adjust my price depending on occupancy rates.
You're not the only one. There was somebody else who I interviewed last week said, I don't believe in dynamic pricing. Which piece of tech couldn't you live without?
Whistle for Cloudbeds. That's the messaging service. Could not live without that.
Pets, yes or no?
Absolutely. Dogs are just as welcome as humans at Wild Hideaways. We never charge extra for them, and they get their own welcome pack when they arrive as well. We love dogs here.
Hot tubs, yes or no?
That's a yes and a no. So no to hot tubs, but yes to alfresco seaweed baths. And every single one of our lodges has an alfresco seaweed bath on the side.
I think you'll be the only one in this series with an alfresco seaweed bath. Self-check-in or personal welcome?
So that's a both as well. Self-check-in code sent with a very personal welcome message. And when they check in, they get a home-baked treat as well.
Sounds superb. Telephone call to your guest or an AI response?
Telephone call. I think AI's got its uses, but nothing beats the personal touch, especially in my business.
And so far, your most memorable hosting moment?
That would be my first ever guest. October 27th, 2023. The poor woman, I think I hounded her. I was texting her every 10 minutes. Is everything okay? And I think I must have checked the room with the cleaners about 10 times before they checked in. And yeah, I was so nervous, but so relieved when they said they enjoyed the stay. So yeah.
Shout out now, is there an individual in the STR space who's perhaps helped you that you'd like to give a shout out to? Yeah,
I've got 2 actually. Mark Simpson, during COVID, I found his podcast, the really early ones when he was still running the granary, and I listened to them religiously on my walks during COVID. And that's how I learned all about STR and getting direct bookings. And I listened to every single one of them. So him, and then through some training I did with Mark Simpson and Paul Anderson, the social media hotelier, completely helped me get rid of my anxiety with Instagram. I'd never used Instagram until 18 months ago. So shout out to him as well. Both of those people have been really, really influential.
Two big friends of Host Planet. Final question then, ultimate goal for your business?
Ultimate goal for my business is for me to have a passive income by 2030, sorry. 2023's passed. No, completely passive income by 2030. But I still want to retain our 5-star review score. And I keep wanting to uphold our amazing guest experience. And I will not compromise one for the other. So if I can get all of that in one go, then, that's my ultimate goal.
Superb. Amy, it's been a real pleasure. Thank you for being part of the Host Planet Playbook.
You're very welcome. My pleasure.
All right, that's it for today's episode. My thanks to Amy for sharing her journey and for being part of the Host Planet Playbook. Remember, this series is brought to you in partnership with Hospitable, the all-in-one property management software designed to save you time and help your business thrive. Hospitable automates your guest messaging, syncs your calendars across platforms, handles team tasks, and so much more, so you can focus on delivering a top-notch guest experience or just get some of your time back. And here's the good news. Host Planet Playbook listeners get an exclusive 14-day free trial plus 25% off for the first 3 months. Head to hospitable.com/hostplanet to claim your offer and start running your rentals on autopilot. And for more free education for vacation rental hosts, head to houseplanet.club, where you can sign up for our newsletter, listen to our podcasts, and download our suite of ebooks. Until next time, happy hosting.